Hi, Anti-Society! Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet, and today we are watching episodes 215 and 216 of Bleach. So we just finished off the little mini flashback arc, the Pendulum of the Past, I think is the full title of that arc, but we're going into the main story again where we had Aizen showing up in the living world where the Soul Society had taken all the people out of the town, so he can't just go in and kill a bunch of people so that he can make himself sort of a king in his own right. We haven't fully gone into the whole concept that there's a king of the soul world, but I digress. The important thing for us to be focusing on going into this is that we are going to get to see some cool fights. I mean, we are going to get to see the top 3 Espada finally get involved in the fighting. I am pretty sure we're going to get to see Aizen fight in some capacity. We've got a bunch of the captains and lieutenants and other characters that we met during the Soul Society arc. We've got Urahara coming up with plans and helping save people, and we know from the last arc where we did the flashback that he has been planning for Aizen for 100 years, so I'm excited to figure out exactly how he is trying to navigate around Aizen's plans. And we have Visored coming in as well, so lots of cool characters happening there, but before we can get to that, we have Ichigo, his friends, and some of the captains and lieutenants, if we're getting at NG as well, that are stuck still in Hueco because they got their little gate thing that they were using to get back and forth has been closed off. So unless Urahara can open that again, which I mean, he knows that they're there and he knows Aizen fairly well, so I feel like Urahara will probably figure it out and be able to get them out of Hueco, but I also hope that they'll be able to send some kind of message if they need to get help. But they're trapped there right now and they have to go up against Ulquiorra, who has finally come back from being teleported away by Grimjo. So it looks like Ichigo is going to pick a fight with him again, which worries me because we all know how that turned out last time. So either it's going to be a really cool fight or it is going to be another tragic ending for Ichigo. And considering it took him quite a few tries to best Grimjo, I don't feel great about this one, you know? I feel like this will not end well for him. But looks like we are going to get into some cool fights. We are going to hopefully win a few of those. We might lose quite a few of them like we did at the beginning of coming into Hueco and in Las Noches, where there were a lot of losses. A lot of losing battles, which is not building a lot of confidence in Ichigo and his friends' abilities, but we can turn this around. Or at least we've got a lot of people who are really well trained and have been doing this for hundreds of years who will be able to step in and help like last time. So let's just get into episode 215. In 3, 2, 1, go. New opener. I'm excited and nervous. Kira! I hope Kira's doing okay. I feel like he's doing better than Momo. Momo I worry a lot about. 'Cause she's was not doing well last time we saw her briefly. I like the opener song though. Is this song by Scandal? Because I know that group. Just another time when I randomly know a band that does one of the anime openers. Yes, we still need to rescue Orihime because she got captured again. So close. But then I think Stark showed up and took her. Yes. I forgot that Hanatoro is still technically part of all this. Which makes me happy because I love him, but nervous because he's already been seriously hurt. And yes, very clever. I'm legitimately like giddy with like what is about to happen. Fighting words. Ulquiorra is back. It's a good thing Ulquiorra doesn't get like phased by anything because I feel like coming back to just like the chaos that has unfolded would have thrown a normal person off, but it's Ulquiorra, so he doesn't have feelings. Except like sometimes mild surprise. Ichigo, do we have a plan? Is there a way for us to beat Ulquiorra that is drastically different from the last time we tried? Aww, poor little soul. It's been a while since we had to deal with just like normal run-of-the-mill hollows. Who's gonna protect? Wow. When your spiritual pressure is so strong that hollows just explode because of it. And cower. Who are you? Am I supposed to know this guy? Because I feel like I don't. I thought it was gonna be someone we knew. So is it like the replacement? Not of Ichigo. Ichigo already had a replacement, but it's like was a distance away, right? Like I said at the beginning, it was like not in the same place that Ichigo was in charge of. Everybody looking intense. I'm not used to Matsumoto looking so intense. She's usually a little bit more relaxed. She kind of puts into perspective how serious this moment is. I don't know. I don't know their ranks yet. I want to see more of Yamamoto fight because we like briefly got to see some of his power, but like we cut away from the fight because the fire, which is it looks pretty epic. Yeah, everybody's gonna want to step way back for this. So we're just putting a hold on Aizen for a little while. I definitely want Toshiro to get a little bit of a rematch with Aizen. I don't think he's powerful enough to actually win, but I like him to get a couple of shots in for Momo, if nothing else. See, I don't think Aizen would get involved anyway. Aizen tends to not want to get involved directly if he doesn't have to. Yes, he's like, we don't need to dirty our hands. That's kind of Aizen's mentality in general. He if he can do something, like if he can get other people to do the dirty work for him, then he will. That's why he has an army of Arnkar, you know? We haven't seen him directly deal with a conflict since the end of the Soul Society arc. I mean, like, probably. Really? I mean, she just has some pretty powerful friends. You can tell Ichigo's serious because he's got those nose wrinkles. Looks like hollow Ichigo is gonna lend some power. Remember when hollows were difficult to fight? I also want everyone to be safe. I worry. True. I mean, you did with Rukia. It's not like we haven't had to rescue our friend from a potentially deadly situation before. I think this one's a little bit more uh intense though. Oh, the masked guys. The hitmen. Just gonna have to fight like a mini army before. I really do wish that Ichigo had like taken at least a couple of seconds to regroup with his friends. He always rushes in by himself. See, thank goodness they always catch up to him because he always just rushes into stuff all alone, no plan, and his friends have to come and bail him out. My boy! Where's Ishida? And Rukia. There she is. I like whenever they're together, Rikio's always like, no time for a reunion, let's just keep going. He is high maintenance, yes. I agree. I mean, maybe, but if it's if it brings you happiness to live in the illusion, then maybe it's worth it. I like whenever they do flashbacks to like previous footage in the show, they have to somehow compensate for the fact that it wasn't widescreen. Like they have to put something on the sides to like make it work. I mean, not in the abstract sense. You will see a heart, but not the one that she's talking about. A dramatic entrance. Decided not to find a door, just like Grimjo. I will never get over Grimjo busting through a wall when there's a door literally a couple of feet over. Oh, I don't know if I should watch the ender. I don't think there's any spoilers in this one. I'm gonna do it anyway. I don't think anyone specifically told me not to watch the ending of this one. I want to see previews again. I'll have to like go back and listen to the ender before this. Ooh. Who are these people? The other Arrancar that came with the Espada and Aizen? Yeah, where's Ishida though? Like Sado, Rukia, and Arenji are all together. And Ishida's not. Is he with the captains? Like, is he with Mayuri still? What are the captains doing? Oh, they're like, we haven't been around in forever, so let's show off a little bit. So that episode was definitely a lot of setup or like reestablishing the conflict because we did leave this whole storyline for a while. Like we had the mini flashback arc, there were a couple of filler episodes before this. Like we were leaving this conflict with Soul Society versus Aizen and also like Ichigo and his friends and some of the captains being stuck in Las Noches. So this was definitely just like hey, remember that this happened and that these characters are here and like setting up who's gonna fight whom, like the fact that we have Aizen, Gin, and Tosen like locked in this flame dome cage thing, and all of the captains, lieutenants are going to be fighting against the Espada and the Ankar that are there with the Espada, so like that's what we're dealing with first, like putting a pin in the whole we need to fight Aizen thing for right now. We also have the like hitmen group with the people in the masks in Las Noches, where we have now Rukia, Renji, and Sado, who are all fighting them, and then Ichigo is with Ulquiorra. Like we're kind of setting those up. I'm interested to see like where Ishida and the other captains are at because they're also there, but I don't know what they're up to. Maybe they're trying to like get back to the living world. Maybe that's their priority right now. I will be interested to see where the focus ends up landing in the next episode because I've seen quite a few Bleach episodes at this point, and I know that a lot of the time they'll, at least this is kind of the structure that ends up happening with the anime. I don't know if it's like directly from the manga because I know that you guys have told me in the comments and over in Discord that they kind of changed the order of some of the fights from the manga to the anime just to like lengthen things out. So at least in the anime, they tend to set up a bunch of the fights that are going to happen, and then we end up focusing kind of on like a few, like a couple of them at a time. So I don't know where our focus is really gonna land. I feel like Ichigo versus Ulquiorra is like a pretty hype fight in that like I really want to see how that fight turns out, and I know that like at the moment it's like not a fight that I think Ichigo can win. So there's like some anxiety behind that too. But like I said before when we were gonna deal with Ulquiorra, Ulquiorra is like the first one of the first Arrancar we met, the first one of the first Espada that we met. So there's a lot of anticipation to have Ichigo fight him because we've known since we like first saw him that Ichigo was gonna have to fight him, right? Like that was gonna be one of the big fights. So I think either Ichigo's gonna like lose again horrifically like he did with Grimjo, or we're gonna kind of put that off for a little while, however that ends up turning out. And obviously the fights with all of the Arrancar and Espada versus Soul Society, I feel like there are so many fights within that that we'll probably end up dealing with a couple of them. I feel like the main one that they're gonna focus on is gonna be against this like hit squad that is in Las Noches. Because I feel like that is the least, like, I don't know, anticipated fight. I feel like that's like the least stakes behind that fight. So there'll probably be some cool things if we see a lot of it at all. Just in terms of like getting to see like Urukia, Renchi, and Sedo like show off. Like they said in the little preview, I'd like to see them get some wins in because goodness knows that they deserve them at this point. So I feel like that might be where we focus, and then we might go into the fights with the Arrancar and Espada against Soul Society. We'll just have to wait and see, but let's get into episode 216. In 3, 2, 1, go. I will say this though. I am very aware that I have a bit of an addiction to watching Bleach because not recording for a couple of days because I was just too sick to do it. Um Messed with my brain because I just kept thinking about how much I wanted to watch it. I am curious to know how the Ichigo versus Ulquiorra confrontation is gonna turn out because I don't think it'll turn well. Like I know that Ichigo can beat his hollow form longer, but that doesn't like necessarily make him stronger. That just means he can be in his hollow form for a longer period of time. That doesn't really give him a power up. I'm so excited for this. I think because it's such a long arc, like there's a bunch of arcs in it, but like it's all the Arrancar arc, right? So we've just spent so long leading up to this point that I'm excited now that we're finally near getting closer to the end of it, that we're getting to like the heart of the conflict. I'm also wondering when Vizard is going to show up because we knew they were heading out at the end of the last little mini arc. I feel like can they not get past it or are they choosing not to? Like Aizen seems like he's content to just like chill. which probably isn't the right word given that he's surrounded by flame, but like he's just sort of hanging out, you know, because he doesn't have to get involved, doesn't feel the need. So I wonder if like he actually could get past the flame barrier if he wanted to. I mean, he might. We might see him do that. I really want to see Yamamoto fight Aizen though. I just think it'll be really cool. Obviously, it won't be like the final showdown because we have to see Ichigo fight Aizen. It's cool. They got this. I mean, Rukia definitely does. She killed Nespada. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I don't think anyone else did. Ichigo didn't kill the Espada he went up against. He won the fight, but I don't. He didn't. He doesn't. He didn't actually kill anyone. I don't think. Yes. I will say this about Ulquiorra. He is trying to understand. Like, we can call him heartless all we want, and maybe he is. He's a very, like, analytical person. But he's also trying to understand how, like, feelings and emotions work in a way that, like, he doesn't need to. And I don't know if that's just pure curiosity or if there's something more behind that. Like, if there's a longing to understand. But it could also just be like that it fascinates him. I think we'll probably find out. Because like we did with Grimjo, we got a backstory to Grimjo. We got to understand who he was a lot better once we got to like the final fight between him and Ichigo. So I feel like when we actually, whenever the final fight happens with Ulquiorra, we'll get some context for his motivation and his character. So he's not dead, which I'm sure if it wasn't Ulquiorra, there would have been some shock on his face to see that Ichigo isn't dead. No playing around this time. Oof, I don't know if we're gonna get into the fight so soon. See, and I wonder if we're actually gonna go back to that fight, or if we're gonna like only see bits of it. It's cool. Do we have a red carpet? Uh, I'm assuming that's part of his release form? Or at least. No, it's just the throne. I mean, Stark definitely seems like he would rather be taking a nap somewhere else. Is that a hollow whistle? Like a dog whistle? But for hollows? Sure. Why are we being melodramatic? You're telling me that Urahara didn't put up any failsafe for these all-important pillars? I feel like he would. He plans things. Is Vizard the safeguard? Is Vizard gonna show up and protect the pillars? These all seem like very ineffective ways of destroying the pillar. Shouldn't you start at the bottom? Like, you should start at the bottom of the pillar, right? If you want to destroy it, why go from the top? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There's gotta be somebody protecting them. Yeah! Oh, I thought it was just gonna be Vizard, but it's better. Because it's all of them. That makes me so happy. I mean, I'm always happy when I say Ikkaku. Look at that granny so happy. Hisagi, I gotta remember that. He's the only one that's name I don't remember. Like a Soifeng's like, I might have not told him, but I'm just gonna go along with it. Hmm. I don't think they'll be as easy to get rid of as you might think. Honestly, I think Ikkaku would be a little bit disappointed if all they did was send like average hollows to fight him. He's gonna want a real fight. So would Yamichika. No, he's just trying to trash talk. Are you guys gonna have a drink together and talk philosophy? Wasn't he a temporary captain? I'm sorry, what? Honestly, someone super theatrical fits with him so well. Oof. I like it's just like an Arankar giving like life advice about not to judge people by their appearance. No, he will not understand. Is he gonna fight him with his eyes closed though? They're gonna be a chaotic mess, aren't they? Okay. Kid is just like, what? He is a bit gloomy, yes. That's sigh though. I don't know about gutless. Mm-hmm. Oh, Kira. Good, don't let it affect you in a way where you don't want to fight. Use it as motivation. Oof. The intimidation, though. He's focused now. Ugh, I'm so happy that a bunch of them have shown up again. I was worried about Kira, because I know that we had him like with Matsumoto, kind of clearing the air between them, but I knew that him having to interact with Gin or like be part of the conflict with Gin was gonna be hard for him. Because we know Kid is like a soft-hearted person. He just wants to make friends and he cares about people, so it can't be easy to like lose someone you look up to like a captain. Preview, please. So we're gonna deal with Michiga's fight first. Aww. I'm really happy that we're getting like so many of the Soul Society characters back because I was talking about missing them like through most of the Arrancar arc when we were in Las Noches and Huicumundo in general. That I was like, I miss them. I wonder what they're up to. I wonder what they're doing. And especially since we're getting into this main conflict where we're really going back to the end of Soul Society and the fact that we have this important conflict between Aizen and Soul Society that just has to be like hashed out. Like there are so many characters meeting each other again that like they just need to deal with the issues that they have given the betrayals and people picking sides and all of that stuff. But I like that we're getting like Kira is back and like him getting to have his moment to kind of be a part of this conflict. I don't know if we'll get him fighting against Gin because I don't know if that would be a fight that he would be capable of winning, nor do I think it's the point of that conflict. Like, I feel like Kira, his story isn't about like facing Gin again necessarily. It's about him having to like find his own strength and independence. Like, I feel like he is a little bit too reliant on the people around him, as we've seen in like flashbacks, and then the way that he was very like submissive to Gin and like just going along with what Gin said, even though his moral compass told him not to do it, he went along with it anyway. So I feel like Kira's story isn't about Gin, it's about him like coming into his own and having that independence that he needs, whereas like I feel the opposite about Momo and Aizen. Like I feel like that part of that is her having to like have her own independence and coming into her own, obviously, but because she has this like idol worship of Aizen, I feel like she has to have a direct conflict with him in order to like conclude her story in a satisfactory way. Like I feel like she has to like look Aizen in the eye and go against his wishes. Like I feel like she has to be very clearly defiant to what Aizen wants in order for her to fully grow as a character. Whether or not that'll happen, I don't know, because it doesn't look like she's come along, and obviously she's still going through quite a bit of stuff last time we saw her, so I don't know if seeing Aizen right now would be a good thing for her, but I do hope that she gets a moment later in the show. I'll be kind of disappointed if she doesn't. We got more of Ichigo versus Ulquiorra than I thought we would. I don't know how important that fight's going to be. Like, we might have just started it and then we won't deal with it for a little while. Who knows with the way that Bleach paces some of its fight scenes. But I do like that we're kind of breaking off some of the Arrancar and we're kind of dealing with those conflicts. Like, I'm sure we're going to build up some other stuff, but I am waiting for Visor to get involved. I'm waiting for like Urahara and Ishida and Yoroichi and like Ishida's dad. Where's Ishida's dad? He's like part of it, right? Because last time we saw him, he was with Ishin. So I'm assuming that he's gonna get involved in some way. You can click this playlist to go and see the previous arc that I reacted to, or you can subscribe to the channel. I post new Bleach episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!